Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our third session um, in the series about technology and AI. Today, I have the pleasure of welcoming Dr. Ghasem Zafarian, who is an associate professor of marketing at Leeds University Business School, um, where he also serves as actually deputy head of graduate school. We have an interesting topic for you today. It's about AI in the future of talent management. Um, but Dr. Zafarian, who's our speaker today, he earned his PhD in marketing from Alliance Manchester Business School back in 2011, specializing in the interplay between business relationships and corporate strategy. His research, surprisingly, his early research, of course, concentrated on business to business, B2B marketing, global business and services. But his current work focuses on the application of generative AI in B2B marketing, digital transformation, AI innovation in new products and development. But he also ventures into AI and its uses in HR and how it's doing the transformation actually within HR and probably other fields as well. His research, what he's working on right now, explores how AI can reshape B2B relationships, emphasizing buyer-supplier dynamics, cross-border customer engagement, and innovation management, with a focus on collaboration and customer-centric approach. He's a renowned speaker and executive speaker at many international conferences across Europe and Middle East. He's published in top-tier academic journals, including Journal of International Business Studies, Journal of World Business, Journal of International Marketing, Long-Range Planning, Journal of Business Research, Industrial Marketing Management, and International Journal of Operation and Production Management. I think I got that right. Oh, yeah. And he's frequently presenting his work at major international conferences, just like any well-known academic. So he's also, as if all the work that he does at the university and publishing is not enough. He's also an associate editor at the Industrial Marketing Management, and serves, as a reviewer for several leading journals. His teaching and doctoral supervision as well spans various topics within global services and B2B marketing, with a focus on digital and AI-enhanced business landscape. Today, as I mentioned earlier, we're talking about the AI in the future of talent management. But before we kick off and I give the floor to Dr. Ghasem, I want to say a couple of words about our sponsors. Knowledge Group Consulting is a Abu Dhabi-based organization that operates in 19 countries across the MENA region, with over 250 staff members. They have worked probably with more than 600 partners. They are classified as, I think, a platinum consulting in the Middle East. Just recently, they received like 3 or 4 awards, and they are also were on the top 20 learning and development providers in the Middle East, and the only one actually to be a global player from the Middle East. They work with several partners across the world, which such as the big universities, as you can see, Wharton, Stanford, IE, and University of Toronto, Columbia Business School, and others. Now, in the next slide, I will show you some of the partners that Knowledge Group have collaborate with in order to bring the solutions. Our other sponsor, of course, is GoLearning. GoLearning is the first platform of its kind in the region It offers a comprehensive catalog of over 10,000 courses focused on professional and personal development. And they do this also in partnership with global edtech leaders such as Coursera, EDX, and Busuu. The platform accommodates diverse learning styles and goals and is powered by an advanced AI algorithm for personalized experience. As we said, it's accessible from the desktop or mobile devices, and it provides users with more than the 10,000 courses, and certifications from renowned institutions. You can utilize, there are several membership packages. They have a freemium model where you can access 4,000 different courses. And we can see that actually on the next slide that I'm going to show you is that the 4,000 courses you can access completely free of charge. And if there is any premium course that you're interested in, you can pay for that individually, or you can subscribe to one of the packages that start with 25 dirhams. And it's very flexible that you can cancel at any time the subscription. So you would have with the platform a freedom to choose individual courses, subscribe monthly, and get a lot of vast array of learning opportunities. You also get access to the power of AI to tailor your own learning journey. Delivering a true learning experience is what you'll get. They have an extensive catalog, as we said, and more than about 4,000 free options. There's also it does support many languages. There's a user interface that's also available in over 30 languages. And of course, the accredited courses, they are globally accredited, ensuring that your efforts are recognized. Every month, they will give, unrestricted access to some courses. And the flavor of the month, as you can see there, is they have 4 courses that are available for you at no charge at all, just for as a reward for you attending this webinar. Please scan the QR code at the bottom so you can access the platform. You can download the app or access it from your desktop, and you can learn at your convenience. With that, I would like to leave the floor to Dr. Ghasem. Doctor, I apologize if I took a lot of your time, but I look forward actually to hearing your talk about this, and I'm sure we'll have plenty of questions which we will ask at the end. Please, if you have any questions, do put them in the questions Q&A box. I will definitely respond to you that I have received them, and we will leave the questions and answers towards the end of the session. With that, and without further ado, Dr. Ghasem, please, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Abid, for inviting me. And hello to everyone. Good morning, good afternoon to everyone joining from any part of the world. As I was introduced, my name is Dr. Zafarian, and I am delighted to delivering my share of thoughts on AI and the future of talent management. Before I start talking about this talent management, I just thought that perhaps we should start with with a general question that I want to run through you guys. So please go ahead and choose your answer for this particular question. I want to have your general perception about, do you feel that AI and other automation will be disruptive, or you think that it's going to be helpful to your business? So go ahead, put your answer in, and we try to see, what's the overall vibe here. As I can see, let me see, end the poll here. Okay, so 20 of 43 people have completed the answer yet. So let's just wait then for another minute or so, so that everyone get the chance to answer. Right. So I guess by far everyone seems that the AI is going to be helpful. literally more than 50% of those of you that voted for helpfulness of AI, and only 10% suggested that indicated that it's going to be very disruptive. Now it really is a very, very ambiguous world that we are living in, right? We really entering into this unknown realm of AI and AI era that we don't know what is coming next every day. There are so many news around AI and AI applications that makes us wonder, do we even can we even basically cope with the pace at which all of these new technologies are coming? So let me just end the poll here with themes that 60% of you believe that it's going to be very helpful, and 13% or so think that it's going to be very disruptive. Right. Now, I'm going to put that aside for now and focus on the presentation. Yes, a lot of other people in the world, including managers around Europe and Africa in big organizations, they also seems to welcoming AI. Whether this is, a fast-moving train that you like it or not, you are a passenger in that train that, you have to basically follow the crowd here or not. A lot of businesses seems that they are welcoming AI. A recent survey indicates that within 6 months, 30% or so of organizations, companies around the EMEA region, in Africa, in South Europe, and in North Europe, and all that, they are basically going to invest in AI. Within the next 3 years, their investment is going to even increase, and within 5 years from now, again, there is a upward trajectory trends in terms of how much these organizations are going to invest in AI. So I am not surprised that the poll that we just had today resembles the same feeling, that a lot of us think that AI is going to be very helpful, or at least this is what the managers of these organizations think, that AI is going to be very helpful, and for that reason they are going and willing to invest in their organization, invest in AI for their organization. But maybe some of these organizations also do that simply because they don't want to basically lose the game to the competitions, and they want to basically keep up with all of the changes that these technologies are bringing to them. Now, that was more generally at organizational level. I want now to give you some stats that are more specifically focusing on HR. Like, globally, 54% of C-suite executives believe that their business will not survive beyond 2030 without embracing AI, and more or less the same percentage of those executives also project that AI and automation will bring at least somewhere between 10 to 13% productivity boost over the next 3 years or so. That's very helpful and wishful as well, I have to say. If imagine that your organization can be 30% more productive, and imagine how that can be translated in terms of profit for the organization. And so, of course, when you see that, then those executives are welcoming AI, and they basically put their money and bet on investing in AI in the hope that they can achieve these goals. And 40% of these C-suite executives also see an even greater upside from AI and automation. So there is really this positive vibe and hope that AI is going to basically transform everything for better. Now, within UK specifically, and I brought the example of UK because I live in the UK and I do my research a lot around companies within the UK, and so I just thought that perhaps I should share this with you, that 85% of HR leaders are already harnessing AI-powered softwares. So that basically is a significant percentage of HR managers that believe that they're already using AI, and 64% of those HR leaders believe that AI literally saves time and simplifies a lot of jobs. And trust me that, HR jobs are not necessarily the easiest one. There are a lot of complications around them. So it's not simple, repetitive tasks that is going to be replaced by AI or this automation. Instead, it's really highly complicated tasks that AI is taking over. And 50% of HR leaders expect that transformative AI will revolution the HR practice overall. Now, all of this really suggests that we are basically entering into a new world where, no longer we are going to basically go for traditional pen and paper style of going through the HR practices. Now, having said that, I just want to set the agenda for today's, webinar, and what I'm going to talk about in the next, I think, probably 40 minutes or so. So here first, I'm going to, talk a little bit about AI, what AI is, and how does AI play a role in HR. And then I want to basically very quickly go through some hands-on tools for SMEs that can use in their HR practices. And at the end, I think one of the key things that I want to discuss is the roadmap for SME to integrate AI in their businesses. If this is something of interest to you, that you want to basically integrate AI into your business practice, or if you are HR manager or you're working in HR department or any other part of your department, in fact, you can apply this roadmap strategy for integrating AI into your business domain. And at the end, obviously, I hopefully will finish in time to give you some time to ask any particular question that you might have. Please use the chat box to leave your questions, and we will try to answer that at the end. Okay, now, some definition of AI. And so what is AI? And this term AI that these days we all hearing more than any other word, right? Even a 4-year-old kid knows these days that they have heard about AI, and they also asking, Mom, Dad, what does AI means, right? So AI in general refers to artificial intelligence, but you will see that AI could refer to other concepts as well. Is a machine's ability to perform some cognitive functions we usually associate with human minds, the broad field that includes all other technologies, right? So if we take that as a definition of AI, literally everything that a machine does that a cognitive functioning of a human being can do, then that is artificial intelligence. So that I showed in the right-hand side on this big graph that, artificial intelligence is a big umbrella term that has so many sub-dimensions in it. One of those is natural language processing, or NLP. And NLP is a branch of AI that focuses on understanding and generating human languages, right? So here, the focus is on understanding and communicating within text verbally, right? So the machine can understand the text that you enter, they can understand it, they can digest it, and they can basically respond back to you with text, right? And it's also part of a broader concept of large language modeling, or LLM, that I hope that you're familiar with that. Now, within that, there is another notion called machine learning, and I want to spend a few minutes, clarifying this machine learning for all of us. So, machine learning is a subset of AI that allows systems to learn from data. So that's very important. So the machine learning is the ability of a machine to learn from the data. Previously, we had to code, we had to basically instruct the machine that get this data, do this sort of functioning and processing, and then produce these outputs in this particular format. But now, this whole processes change. Machine takes the data, analyze the data, learns about the data, and then produce the function without us necessarily needed to basically code it, right? So that's the difference between, you know, machine learning and us teaching the machine to basically perform a particular task. But there are different ways of learning, and that's really important. We have a supervised learning where you give data your label. So for instance, if a machine needs to decide based on handwriting what you are writing, you need to basically provide millions of examples of handwriting for each letter, and then you need to label that. And so you basically teach the machine that this is letter A and this is letter B if it's written this way or that way or that way. So you provide thousands and thousands of examples for each letter for the handwriting. And so then you train the machine, and then you give them a new handwriting, and the machine will decide whether it is A or B. Or for instance, if you want to decide whether this is a cat or a dog, you provide millions of pictures of cat and dog to machine, and you label them. This is cat, this is dog, this is dog, this is not cat, right? And the machine starts to learn. And then through supervised learning, you give a data, sample data to it, and then you run the test to see if the machine can predict it correctly or not. And then if not, then you need to correct it to teach the machine that, no, actually you made a mistake. This was a cat or this was a dog, right? So that's a supervised learning. But that was something that probably we used to do it some 20, 30 years ago. And then we basically moved towards unsupervised learning, which is you no longer need to provide labeling to your data, and you provide the raw data to the machine, and the machine can identify and recognize the pattern. And that is unsupervised learning. And you can do this unsupervised learning, for example, if you take a brain tumor or an X-ray photo to the machine to basically analyze it and see if they can identify that this particular tumor is a bad tumor, is a good tumor, or is it cancerous, or is this not cancerous, for example, right? So that is unsupervised learning, but it tries to identify the pattern. So if you have a big data, then you want to identify patterns or identify clusters within the pattern, you do the cluster analysis, for example, through this. And that is unsupervised learning. And then we have semi-supervised learning, which is basically the combination of the two. You provide some labeling at the start, and then you basically let the machine to learn and see if it can explore and identify a pattern within the data that you provide. And these days, what we are observing is a new way of learning, which is reinforced learning. Now, no longer machine really requires us to provide the data or to provide labeling or supervise it. It basically tries to do it by try and error, try to identify the answer, and you basically give a reward or penalty to the outcome that the machine produced, and based on the reward or penalty, machine redo the entire analysis and come up with a new answer. And that is what is going on, for example, in ChatGPT or in any of these new technologies that are using LLM models. Okay, so when we're talking about machine learning, I wanted to be clear that which of these approach of learning we are really referring to, and for different practices, for different needs, a particular type of learning can best fit. So it doesn't mean that we always have to go with the reinforced learning. Sometimes supervised learning would be enough if we are doing a particular task. And why do I say that? I say that because sometimes we are talking about a narrow AI, as opposed to general AI, and a narrow AI focuses on a specific task rather than generally try to generalize something. So if you are talking about narrow AI that is going to be specialized in one particular task, perhaps that can be done through different methods of learning. Now, aside from machine learning, we have generative AI, or Gen AI in short, which is a specialized area within machine learning that generates new data or content leveraging various ML models. Right here, the difference between Gen AI and AI is that AI literally digests the data that you have, but here Gen AI produces new data, and based on the input that you provide or based on the prompt that you provide, it generates the next or predicts the next set of words for you. And artificial general intelligence is another concept. Artificial general intelligence is the state where AI has reached the human level intelligence that can basically indistinguishably replicate human intelligence. Have we reached there yet? No, we haven't reached there. We do not have artificial general intelligence yet. We are working towards that, yes, but we are not there yet. God knows, maybe 5 years from now, maybe 10 years from now. Some people say we'll never get there. Some are very, hopeful about it, wishful, and they think that, oh yes, we will get there, and we will get there very soon. But basically, artificial general intelligence is about when you can claim that an AI, a machine, can literally do anything that a human person is capable of doing, right? Until then, we are not there. So, for example, one of the easiest tasks for human is to put dish into a dishwasher. But trust me, this is one of the most challenging tasks for a robot, to basically put these dishes into dishwasher in a perfect way that human can do, as fast as human can do. And until the day that they are capable of doing literally anything that human can do, we are not there yet. Now, the next concept that I want to introduce to you is the chatbots. Chatbots are applications of AI that use LLM and NLP to interact with users, often powered by, like I said, artificial intelligence. That has been used a lot in recent years, and a lot of companies started using chatbots, for example, for their sales and after-sales services, for their customer relationship management, basically the first point of contact for customers to reach out to companies. Chatbot can basically be a great help here. Augmented intelligence, on the other hand, and agentic AI are two other issues that I wanted to highlight here. So augmented intelligence is also short for AI, and that's why I wanted to clarify that when we talk about AI, we need to be clear: are we talking about artificial intelligence, or are we talking about augmented intelligence? So the difference between the two is that if you have if you basically merge the machine intelligence with human intelligence, then you're going to get augmented intelligence. So basically, it's more like a close collaboration between artificial intelligence and human intelligence. It's like I have AI assistant next to me that is helping me in making decisions about every step of the process, right? So it's like I have an AI assistant that is basically working for me, and that collaboration is augmented intelligence, very much like Microsoft Copilot, and what they are trying to do, or the way that they are trying to position Copilot, is that they want to basically consider that as your artificial intelligence assistant, right? That can help any employee to better perform their task. And so augmented intelligence is the future of AI. Trust me, at some point in the future, every one of us is going to have our own augmented intelligence, our own what also refer as agentic AI or agents as well. So what is agentic AI? Agentic AI is a system that uses AI to practice its environment, process the information it gathers, and take action to achieve the goals based on those information. So agentic AI, in other words, is like it's the difference between agentic AI and AI is that AI is the intelligence, is the brain, but on its own, it doesn't function. and you need a tool to function, to use, to put that intelligence into practice. And agentic AI is that tool that is going to put AI into practice. So literally, you can basically create and develop an agentic AI that basically gather data on a particular task that you want. Say, for example, you want to shortlist CVs for interview. You can basically have an agentic AI that does all the job for you. It will basically search the candidates, shortlist them based on the criteria that you want, and basically arrange the interview. And you, even if you want, they can also do the interview for you, or list all the interview questions and then also analyze the answer and so on and so forth. So agentic AI is basically the functioning of and putting AI into practice. Now, if you bring that into your day-to-day job and help you, assist you to work alongside you, to help you function better and make decisions faster, then we have augmented intelligence, right? So this augmented intelligence is basically your ability to basically join and work closely with a specific agentic AI. So I wanted to make sure that we are basically clear about all of these concepts that are going on. And so we are not confusing one from another. And also this graph shows that where they sit in this whole big picture of artificial intelligence, and where agentic AI is, where generative AI is, chatbots are, and machine learnings are, and all that. Now, like I said, agentic AI and augmented AI, where do we want to go? Which one do we want to have? I think, well, today, humans traverse hundreds of websites, enterprise apps, slow and painful. You want to search for something, you need to go to Google, and sometimes Google doesn't give you the answer. It basically provides the sponsored answers and basically make you go through all of the suggested links, and then you need to explore each of those links to find the answer to a specific questions that you want. But then, futuristically speaking, tomorrow AI agents will bring the information to human much faster, much easier. So you have a question, you don't need to Google and to ask or to do any of those. Agentic AI will do all the tasks, will go through all the links, will browse all the websites, all the sponsored link, everything, and then basically gather, compile the answer and provide it to you. Now, another example that I want to give you, and perhaps it makes a lot more sense, is that these days all of us have some sort of smartphones, right? And one of the key things about the smartphones is that it's basically full of different apps, right? For whatever thing that you want to do, there is an app. And that was one of the key marketing ethos of Apple, right? So you want to do this, there is an app for it. There is an app for it, right? So that was the key slogan of Apple. There is an app for everything. Now, imagine if you want to arrange a meeting and go to a meeting in London. So you need an app to basically arrange your meeting through calendar, for example, and then you need to buy your tickets. You need to check the Google Maps to search the location of the meeting, and the timing of the meeting, find the right train ticket, for example, buy the train tickets through a particular app. So you as a human has to interact with, for example, so many different apps in order to get the task done, right? Now, agentic AI or augmented intelligence will enable you and your smartphone to be free from all of these apps. All you really need is one agentic AI that can do all the things behind the scene for you. You just need to basically command to this agentic AI that I want to go to London to have this meeting in this place at this time, arrange everything for me. And that basically agentic AI will book your tickets, will set the meeting, send all the emails, all the invitations, etc., right? So do you really need all of these apps in the near future? Perhaps not. And my bet is in the next 3 or 4 years time, we are going to basically get rid of all of the apps and just have one AI or agentic AI in our mobile phones. Or perhaps this could be Siri, or this could be, Alexa, Amazon Alexa, that does all of this for us. We can simply ask Siri, hey Siri, I want to do this. I want to go to this place. I want to visit this place. So arrange everything for me, and it does everything from A to Z. Including your itinerary, where you want to eat, which restaurant you want to go, which place you want to visit, etc., and so on and so forth, right? So that's the agentic AI and augmented AI that I see is coming very soon. And perhaps this is what I want you to consider for the HR practice when we want to basically think about use cases of these technologies in HR. So if you think about it, artificial intelligence, machine learning, NLP, Gen AI, chatbots, agentic AI, each of those, if you think very carefully, you can see examples of that that is already being used in HR. For example, AI can be used in screening candidates' CV based on job description. Machine learning can basically analyze existing employees' performance to predict similar application performance and what sort of applications you need to hire. NLP can help you extract and categorize and evaluate applications. Generative AI can help you create, for example, job descriptions and advertisements, right? Chatbots can help you to interact with the candidates, leave all of those tedious work of arranging or answering and addressing all of these interview and job candidates questions via chatbots 24/7. You don't need to be there. And agentic AI, basically, it could take the form of personal assistants like Alexa or Siri, or an automated system that help HR managers in their day-to-day tasks. So that's the ultimate basically application of AI for HR practices. And then now I want to go into more details about each of those, right? So the integration of AI across different life cycle of talent acquisition and management. So what are those different stages of the life cycle? So human resource planning, recruitment and selection, performance management, training and development, compensation and benefits, employee relations. All of these are major HR tasks that are currently being practiced within HR department. And I want to go through each of these to showcase you that okay, for each of these new technologies are changing the game for us. So for human resource planning, at a very broad level, we are thinking about organizational structure. Which structure works better for our company? Should we go for more of a flat organization? Should we go for more of a vertical organizational structure? The AI-driven analytics can help design optimal organizational structure, and predictive modeling can also forecast the impact of structural changes, helping leaders make informed decisions about reorganizations and which way works better for us, for our organization. And there are already third-party tools like, for example, SIF, that you can use to basically visualize this, right? Adjustment and analysis of corporate organization. AI tools can continuously monitor organizational health by analyzing employee engagement, productivity metrics, and other key performance indicator. And sentiment analysis basically can help you to basically analyze employees' feedback. What are they feeling? What are they trying to really say? What's the implications or what they are trying to imply? And basically bring all of that into understanding the organizational climate, within particular department or for division, what's the general vibe. So all of these sentiment analysis can really help you better understand employee and employees feeling, their feelings towards their boss, and so on and so forth. And analysis of the supply and demand of enterprise personnel, formulation of enterprise human resource management. There are apps that can help you in terms of predictive analysis, AI-powered talent acquisition system that can identify potential skill gaps and suggest training or hiring strategies to fill the gaps. So that's as a very broad level for human resource planning. You can use all of these technologies that can identify that within your organization, if you basically sign a new contract, or you want a new contract that you want to deliver a particular project, what are the skill sets that you need? What are the skill sets that you are basically lacking at the moment? And within the human resources that are available to you, can you basically provide training and empower them to be able to enabling them to deliver that task? Or do you need to basically bring in fresh blood into your organization? And if so, then it tries to basically arrange this recruitment process, right? Now, the recruitment and selection is perhaps one of those key areas that can be touched by AI significantly. For example, AI, NLP models and large language models, Chat GPT as just one example, can be used to write a better job description for the organizations. Writing a job description is a difficult task. And, a lot of times when you review a job description, when you want to apply for a job, you go through this and you feel that it is written by HR department. And, HR departments, their expertise is in recruiting and basically looking after HR, but not necessarily they have the skill sets required to write job descriptions for a tech engineer that is going to work at front edge of new technology in a particular field, right? So this is going to be extremely difficult for HR employee to write that particular job descriptions, but with the help of AI, that is no longer an issue. And so job descriptions can be a lot more clear, and that is going to bring efficiency in terms of writing, in terms of finding the right candidate and shortlisting the right ones that are basically demonstrating the right skill sets. AI-driven content creation and competency mapping, all of these are tools that can basically help you to map all the skills required for a particular role, and then what are the skills that a successful candidate should demonstrate throughout the interview. And more importantly, when it comes to screening and selection process, these tools, these AI tools, are able to do a much finer, better job in terms of identifying the people with the right set of skill sets that requires for a particular task. So personalized candidate outreach is another important contribution of AI. Pulling out candidate information from different platforms such as LinkedIn, and that will allow HR department to create more customized, tailored communication with those candidates, right? When you know the candidates better, you are better able to communicate with them, and that's perhaps why a lot of people are afraid of sharing too much information on social media, because all of these AI powered tools can literally scan the entire web and compile all the information about you, knowing you better than yourself, and so will enable HR department to really scrutinize all of your details before even they reach out to you to ask whether you want to be considered as a headhunter. Do you want to consider joining this particular organization? And of course, AI chatbot can handle initial candidate interactions, answer candidate questions 24/7, schedule interview, updating the status of the application, enhancing the candidate experience. So all of these are, different aspects that the basically AI chatbots can help to basically automate a lot of these routine tasks for the HR department, and redirecting candidate and matching talent hub is another capability of these AI tools, that maybe perhaps this candidate is not perfect fit for this particular role that I am looking now, but being AI, I know that there is a demand or need on another department within my organization that perfectly this candidate match all the requirements of that particular role. So maybe they can basically shift this candidate to that role, or playing around with these, or in fact maybe okay, maybe we do not need your skill set now, but we will keep you in mind, and in the future if a role comes up that requires your skill, you will be the first that we will reach out to you, right? So basically keeping the relationship with the tool of talent, and with the candidate baskets, let's say, is what these AI can do. Like, I don't want to bore you with more details of these examples here when it comes to analysis and selection of recruitment channel, implementation of recruitment. So all of these can be basically better function by the use of AI. So for example, you can use the most effective channel of communication, or where you want to identify the pool of candidate, and identifying biases and getting rid of biases. For example, if there are any sort of language discrimination in the job description, whether you are heavily skewing towards male candidate or female candidate, interview scheduling and reinventing interview and redesigning the interview questions, being more fair to everyone, and onboarding experience of basically onboarding a person into this new organization. All of that can be basically done by the use of AI. Now, I mentioned all of that, but I want to also highlight that the bias is really an important issue here. So this, candidate identification decisions made by people versus ML. On one hand, a lot of studies are out there. It's just one example that I provided here by Bo Cowgill from Columbia University, that basically did a lot of research and provided empirical evidence that if the entire process of screening and selections and doing interview and offering a job is done by the use of machine learning tool, compare it to by a human being, what's the difference? Do you get benefit out of it? And it shows that yes, introduction of machine learning technology resulted in selection of candidates that were 14% more likely to pass interview and receive a job offer, 18% more likely to accept the job offer, and 12% less likely to show evidence of competing job offers, and obviously more productive ones hired as an employee. But the question is that why machine learning tools are better in terms of identifying the right candidate and basically going through the entire process and recruiting those people. And the research suggests that these candidates are broadly non-traditional, particularly candidates who graduated from non-elite college, who lack job referrals, who lack prior experience, whose credentials are atypical, and who have strong non-cognitive soft skills. But because these ML tools are unbiased towards particular university brand or particular degree or certificate, then they have basically considered a much wider sampling frame of candidate to choose from, a pool of candidate to choose from, right? Whereas human being, people, usually we are all biased. We are all biased, full stop. Whoever that tells you that, oh, I'm not biased, believe me, they are, right? Maybe not in their conscious mind, but indirectly, indeliberately, unintentionally, is in our nature that we are biased. And so, if we can have a machine learning tools that is unbiased, then we have a much better chance of performing better. And that is where, the positivity of using AI and all of those productivity that, a lot of managers believe is coming from. And I believe that's also, this positivity from all of you guys that basically said that, we have a higher hope that, is going to be, helpful. Now, there are, other stages in terms of, for example, training and development, performance management, and competition and benefits, and also employee, and that employee relations, that you can use AI related softwares, AI related tools that can help you to basically build the relationship better. Sentiment analysis, for example, predictive analysis, negotiation support, AI powered mediation, union relationship management, I don't know, collective bargaining analysis, contract management, even how much you want to offer as a salary, negotiate with them. AI can really come and play a role in every aspect of this. But one thing that I want to emphasize more and focus more on is related to how to use AI to create business value and how we can basically create the roadmap. So I want to talk a little bit more about this in the remaining time. So first of all, we need to separate the hype from the reality. What is really doable and what is not really doable. There's a lot of hype. There's a lot of things that people claim AI can do, but in reality, a lot of it is really hype. So you need to be very clear in terms of what AI can do. Also be clear about your own capability within your organization, what you can really do. Don't basically go for a big step, don't bite more than what you can chew at once, in other words, right? And choose trends that align best with your organization, establish a roadmap and evaluate your progress and see how you're doing. Take a smaller step but more steady step, and then analyze your performance and take it from there. And in terms of roadmap for the HR in particular, assess your current HR processes. What are your HR processes? Identify the area within your HR processes that that are inefficient, that are or they are time consuming, that you want to basically consider revising and working towards it. So define objectives and goals for each of those processes, right? And then study and analyze and identify. In other words, do your homework, do your research to find out which AI tools can really help you to best address those requirements of the HR needs and those processes, right? And develop a pilot program. Always go with a small program to test the effectiveness of those tools and make sure that they are working. Then start to basically, if it's working based on the feedback that you get, then you want to scale it into a bigger program and integrate it within your organization. Obviously, you need to provide a lot of training and support for the staff, and then obviously monitor and measure the impact. Now, I said that. Now I want to talk a bit more about this, but let me run a second poll here that is basically asking you about how much trust do you have in an AI-powered recruitment processes. So please go ahead and give me your answer about how much trust do you have. Remember, when we're talking about this, maybe that there is AI behind this recruitment process when you are approached by a company to join them, and maybe you have no idea that there is AI behind all of this, right? Now I see that 45%, nearly 50% of the people say that they moderately have trust in this, and some say that very trust, but no one says that I have full trust or extreme trust. And the good thing is that not many also suggest that they don't have any trust at all, only 7%. Now, I'm just giving a bit more time to gather more information, and then I'm going to basically end the poll and share the results with all of you. We still have, let's say, I'm going to wait for another 10 seconds. 20 people haven't voted yet. If you can also vote, I would be very grateful. Nope. All right, okay, so let's end the poll now and share the results. So you can see that nearly 40% of you have high trust and 37% moderately trusting. So that means collectively nearly 80% of you suggest and indicate that you have some level of trust in AI basically powered recruitment process. Now, I'm going to stop sharing this pool and going to, some really important issues that I want to basically end my, my webinar today with, and that is about biases. I mentioned to you in the couple of slides back that if we have unbiased machine learning tool, then it can basically produce a really good result in terms of recruitment, identifying and selecting the right candidate, and those candidates are going to perform much better. But the problem is that right there, I said that all human beings are biased, right? Now, take this. We as a human, we are biased, okay? Let's admit that and put that aside. Now, think about AI tools or these machine learning tools that we are going to use for the recruitment process. Remember at the start of this webinar, I talked about different types of machine learning and supervised learning, unsupervised learning, semi-supervised learning, and reinforced learning. Where the learning comes from. If you remember, I mentioned that in all of those learning, the starting point is data, right? So all the data that you provide as a sample to the machine so that it can be trained based on that data. Who created that data? Us, human being, right? And if we are biased, then our data is biased. And therefore, if we are training our machines with a biased data, then our machine learning tools are going to be most likely biased as well, right? In other words, garbage in, garbage out. You provide bad quality data. You don't expect that all of a sudden the machine learning is going to develop an ML tool that is going to be completely unbiased. There are thousands of examples, even up until like a few years ago. If you were searching on Google for the word nurse, it was only showing you Google image. It was only showing you female nurses. And if you were showing, a CEO, searching for CEO, it was only showing you male CEO. So if this is not biased by Google, then what is bias, right? And a very fine example of these biases in HR practice and the machine learning that is developed based on poor data is the fine example case of Amazon. Amazon, nearly more than a decade ago, they developed a machine learning tool to shortlist the candidate for job interview, right? And when they basically started using it in England, they realized that all of the candidates are coming from a particular background. Say, for example, they were all white, they were all male, and they were all had, for example, university degree, right? So then this is a bias, right? So they were really surprised and shocked at why this machine learning is only shortlisting these people with certain characteristics and not everyone else. And they turned out that there was a period of time in Amazon that they needed this type of people, like, with university certificate, and they were mostly male. And when they gave this data as a training to this machine learning just understood the trend that, okay, the data suggests that only male, only, white British, and only, for example, university certificate holders should be shortlisted. And so when they run this they run this machine learning tool, it's just shortlisted that. So garbage data for training, obviously a very bad machine learning, on a biased machine learning tools, right? So this is critically important that we develop unbiased tools, unbiased AI, unbiased machine learning. And so that's the main drawback of AI in HRM, and in fact in every other aspect as well. So that information reliability. Do we provide clear and clean information for learning? What about ethical and bias issues? What about data privacy and security? What about lack of emotional intelligence in these machine learning tools? What about works on prediction and won't always be right, right? So, all of these are key drawbacks that we need to be really careful here, right? And so, there was another study published in Organizational Behavior and Human Decision Processes, and with that, I'm going to stop here, that this study shows that, personal decisions driven by algorithms are perceived to be less fair comparing to decisions that are made by people. And the reason for that is the lack of trust in the system, in the AI. That, do we really trust that this AI is basically is biased or unbiased, right? And so that is extremely important. If you want to use AI in your organization, you have to be very careful about the kind of data that you provide, and making sure that data is clean so that your machine learning learns unbiased process. And you also have to be absolutely transparent and clear in terms of when you are using AI, why you are using AI, how you are using AI, and what is the AI doing here. Is it only for shortlisting the candidate? Is it also about developing interview question? Is it actually analyzing your interview answers, right? So because they can record the video of your answers and the interview, and then ask AI to analyze that interview. So where exactly AI is going to be used? You need to explain that to candidates, you need to explain that to employees, and you need to explain that to managers. Now, the only last thing I want to suggest to you, just another minute or so, and then I finish here, is that, think about, pandas, or, pandas are, as a bear, they are, this black and white bears in China, they eat bamboos, right? They are very highly specialized in eating bamboo. Their hands, their arms, everything is so specifically designed to eat bamboos and nothing else. Now, if something happens to bamboos, then these pandas are going to be out of existence, right? Because there is no other thing that they can eat, because they cannot eat anything else. They didn't learn to eat anything else. Guess what? 2 million years ago, there were all sorts of dinosaurs in the world, but something happened, and then they all disappeared. Which of those dinosaurs managed to survive? T-Rex? No, none of them. But what managed to survive was raccoon. Raccoon is a small animal that is really generalized. This is not specialized at all in one particular food. Here in this case, it was basically eating any garbage that it could, right? So being generalized or being specialized, there are two different strategies that you can choose for yourself. Up until now, within the realm of HR, it was extremely important that you train to be specialized. I want to be a doctor, but I want to be a brain surgeon doctor. I want to be a heart surgeon doctor. I want to be, a lawyer in specifically focusing on, corporate legislation, for example, right? So specialized in one particular task. And guess what? We are in the world we are living now, we are approaching an era that being specialized in one thing is not going to help you. There's a lot more chance of that specialization can be taken over by AI. And so it's very much like those T-Rex, like those panda, if you're specialized. But those that can survive are those that accumulated a broad set of skill set and knowledge, and those that are, they can claim that they are more generalized. They have better chance of survival when these AI waves are going to, hit us, especially when we're talking about, agentic AI or augmented intelligence here. And with that said, I'm going to stop here. And I will see if there are any questions that I would be happy to answer here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ghasem. Actually, a couple of questions, and I think these are the questions that are in everybody's mind. At what point would we start challenging AI in the future? So today I learned that there is an organization who has AI as their chief executive officer. And it makes decisions as when they take the grapes, because they make some sort of wine and something, because they tell them you can't predict humidity and so on and so forth. But nobody dares to question the decisions that comes up with, because if they challenge the decision and they are wrong, then it's a big disaster. At what point we as human we will stop, the challenge of AI, so that we become just more of followers than people who are in control of these machines?
Yeah, very, very good question. Very good question, Doctor. There are two ways to look at it. At least in my, perception, there are two ways to look at it. One way is that we all kind of accept AI as a superior technology that is basically much, much, much smarter than us as average of human, right? If you say average IQ of people is around 100, 110, AI right now, the average AI IQ is 160, 170, and in few years' time, it's going to be 5,000. So, do we dare to even challenge and question a species that has IQ that are 1,000 times smarter than us? That's one thing. If we are really believing that, or if you have that sort of perception, then it's going to be we are going to simply assume that they're always right, and we have to be the followers. But then there is a completely opposite school of thought that are questioning a lot of this. In fact, they are raising and challenging already that how many times we need to provide examples of hallucination by AI powered tools that for example, in academia, you ask these AI powered tools to write an essay or write something, and they make up references and referencing to works that doesn't exist. It's just have we ever heard, oh, I don't know, from, for example, ChatGPT? No, never. They are basically programmed in a way that they always give an answer, and what they give as an answer is the best prediction of that model, and we just assume that what they are predicting is better because in some cases they are really better. But in my opinion, they are really good in few things. For example, if they need to put few words next to each other to make a sentence sounds perfect, they are good. But when it comes to creativity, when it comes to rationalization, they are not really. And so there are people out there that are questioning this, challenging this. But having said that, then again, think about the building that you are sitting in right now, right? At some point, there was no building there. At some point, there were only ants living underground on that particular piece of land, right? But then us human, we came, we put concrete there, we built that building. We didn't care about those ants, did we? Not that we basically were enemy of them, not that we we had any particular issue with them. No, but it's just that we didn't care they are exist or not, because for a better cause we just built that building, right? Now if you look at it this way, then AI is, when they have like, IQ that is 5,000 comparing to us, we will be treated as those ants. And we need to stop that. And I know that there are many people that are basically thinking along these lines, that they for example, they I was reading lately about this. We used to get overexcited when there was a new technology. Think about when iPhone came out. Think about when digital cameras came out. When all of those technologies, they were really came out to help solve one of the issues that humans were facing, like climate change, for example, or shortage of water, this, that, right? And we were so excited, but we lost it somewhere. I don't think that there's anyone that can say that I am overly excited about this, AI creation. We all have this fear and anxiety of what is it and how is it going to basically treat us once it exceeded our level of intelligence. And so we need, at least at a higher level, we need a council, a government-based sort of council that is going to overlook the development of this, that provide legislation for that.
Yeah, great. I still believe that the ants are still living under the building, but it might be wrong.
Correct. No, I am on the same page. Yeah.
Yeah. And another question, and I'm summarizing all the questions for the sake of time. In HR supported AI platforms, or HR platforms that are supported by AI, they can actually create predictions about people who are going to be leaving the organization. They can, say, increase this person based on XYZ, he's going to leave. This is etc. etc. But I can't trust this, because you might be now taking the wrong indication about someone just because of a certain situation that the AI is telling you this person is going to leave, so you start looking for the replacement and then you fire them. At the same way, when you're recruiting, it also sometimes you might overlook people who are talented because they didn't put the right words in the in the CV, or they had some issue expressing themselves in a video-based interview.
Correct.
And these are challenges that are real. I mean, again, at what point do we stop? Do we trust them or we don't trust them? I think, would there be a validity and reliability studies at some point? Because everybody is excited about AI. They want AI, but they don't understand, the validity and reliability, how important they are in tools like this.
I cannot agree with you anymore. I fully agree with you. You're 100% correct here. And that's why I also ended my webinar on this. That to what extent should we really trust this? If really my thinking that garbage in, garbage out is true, which is the case, and if these machines are basically trained on the basis of poor quality data, then they can only produce poor quality output or outcome, then why should we trust? And should we entirely leave everything to AI to basically go through the screening process, go through the interview process, selection, etc., etc., or should there be a human being alongside? My view on this is that we have to basically use AI as an assistant tools that can help us in decision making. At no point in time we should allow AI to make the decision, but to help us to make a decision as a co-pilot. And that's why I suggested the the concept of augmented intelligence, that basically agentic AI comes and help you, assist you in shortlisting interviews for candidates, for example, or creating interview questions, or basically doing some sort of sentiment analysis. But ultimately it should leave it to you as HR manager to decide, for example, do you think that this candidate has what it takes to basically perform this task? Or when we are thinking about these employees might potentially leave, there are two ways to look at it. Why they want to leave? Is there anything we can do to help them to stay? Or, the other way to look at it is that, AI basically go through performance metrics of employees and identify those that are performing poorly, and then, provide them as a suggested list of, employees that should be basically guided towards the exit door. In any of these cases, I don't think that we should fully, basically hand over these decisions to AI. It has to be a human element touch into all of these decisions. A human loop should be in every HR process, in my opinion. And AI can only be basically an assistant here.
Absolutely. And, judging from based on the history of humans, I'm not sure how much this is going to happen. However, Dr. Ghasem, thank you so much. Really enjoyed it. We
My
will be
pleasure.
sharing the slides and the recording of the webinar with you at a later stage. Thank you all for attending. We're very grateful again to Dr. Ghasem, and we hope to see you next month in our fourth webinar. And I hope you have a great afternoon and Happy New Year, because we'll see you, I think, in the new year. So we'll see you in 2025.
Sure. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.